Hey friends, it's me. Do you ever feel like there's a big gap between you and God? Sometimes we can get so caught up in the everyday things of life that we forget about our relationship with Him. But God doesn't want us to live like that. He wants us to come close to Him and trust Him every day. Today we're going to learn from a story about a tower that reached all the way to heaven. Let's go. The story we're going to learn today comes from the Bible, Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 to 9. It tells us about what happened after the flood when everyone on earth spoke one language. All the people lived together in the land of Shinar. And one day they said to each other, "Hey, come on. Let's build ourselves a great city with a tower that reaches up to the heavens. That way we can make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, if we are scattered over the face of the whole earth, who knows what might happen to us?" So this is how it was going to be. And it sounds like a good idea, right? Building a tower that reaches to the heavens. But if you read further, you will notice that their goal wasn't to honor God, but to glorify themselves. They wanted to stay united in their own power, instead of following God's plan to spread out and fill the earth. Can you imagine how tall this tower would need to be to reach the heavens? It would need to be taller than the clouds. So these people had big dreams, but not dreams that honored God. Then the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the people were building. And He said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan will be impossible for them, and they will only stop when they have finished what they have set out to do." And the Lord said, "I want to go down and confuse their language so they will not understand what their neighbors are saying." So the Lord made it rain. As one people, they were scattered over the face of all the earth, and they stopped building the city. Then the Lord said, "A city this is, and a tower whose top reaches up to the heavens. And this is what they will do in the future. Nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them." And the Lord called that place Babel, because there He confused the language of the whole world. That's why we call it the Tower of Babel. This story teaches us that pride leads to division, but humility keeps us close to God. When these people decided to build a tower that reaches to heaven, they didn't consider how much bigger God is than them. They thought that they could reach heaven by themselves without God. Because of this, God confused their language so they wouldn't understand each other anymore. They weren't as strong together as they were when they all got along. So they stopped building the tower and went separate ways. Friends, this story reminds us that no matter what your plans are, big or small, God wants you to include Him in everything you do. If we don't humble ourselves before God, our plans will fall apart just like the Tower of Babel. But if we humbly ask God for help, then He will help us with our plans. In Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18, it says, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." It also says in James chapter 4, verse 6, "But He gives us more grace." That is why it says, "God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble." So let's remember that when we think we're too good or too strong or too smart to need God, we're actually making ourselves weaker. But if we humble ourselves and admit we need God, then He will help us and make us stronger. So friends, if you're feeling far away from God, take some time to talk with Him. Ask Him for forgiveness for the times when you've tried to do things on your own without Him. Ask Him to help you believe in Him more and follow Him more closely. And remember the story of the Tower of Babel. Don't try to build your own towers that reach to heaven without God. Instead, humble yourself before Him and ask for His help. Then He will be with you and help you all the days of your life. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful Bible stories and messages of hope. Also, check out our channel. We love you and we'll see you next time.